Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon and Tony. Today is Take a Wild Guess Day. Take a wild guess what I'm thinking about.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. You and Derrick Rose soaring through Chicago on a unicorn named Ditka? What do you think? I got it. Didn't I? Nailed it, didn't I?
Do you think you're funny today? Is it I think I'm funny day? Or is it Take a Wild Guess
Rose,
Day?
Ditka? Come on, that's what you're always thinking about. That is really your sweet spot. A unicorn named Ditka?
Yeah, that's good.
I got
That's
it.
great.
Oh, I got that one. I believe I have that. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Mark Jackson's future, Yasiel Puig's harrowing journey to the United States, and the possibility of Tennessee trying to hire Greg Marshall. But we begin today with the apparent jockeying for favorable NBA playoff matchups. Our guest later in the show, Brian Windhorst, is reporting that the Brooklyn Nets might sit as many as 6 rotation players tonight against the Knicks. The strategy behind this is that the Nets prefer to drop to 6th place in the standings and draw the Raptors instead of the Bulls in the first round. Wilbon, if you are Adam Silver, are you okay with this obvious maneuvering?
It's alleged maneuvering. It's sort of an accusation. It's not.
This
we don't
obvious
know what it is.
maneuvering.
Adam Silver's going to do nothing unless he's got some proof from somebody, some statements.
You're Adam Silver. You're Adam Silver.
I have no proof. Now let's get to the real story here. The insult that is directed at the Toronto Raptors because everybody, it seems, would like to drop into a position where they can get the Raptors either the first round or the second round. Why? Because you'd rather get a playoff neophyte, even if coaches and players don't want to admit that publicly. And Toronto finishing in the 3rd spot, which it looks like they will. They get at New York at Madison Square Garden in their final game. We expect them to win it. And the Bulls would be in 4th. And Brooklyn would say, you know what, we'd rather take the path of least resistance, if you believe that. Miami, why does everybody say we're okay finishing 2nd? Because the 2nd seed would, in the 2nd round, get the winner of the 3rd seeded team. And if Toronto was to win their first round matchup, they would play.
Well, not
the
everybody,
seed.
by the way. The Washington Wizards
they don't have a play.
Would be very, very happy to finish where they could get the Chicago Bulls instead of Toronto because they can't beat Toronto. Well, let me go back.
You're right about the Wizards.
Let me go back to the question of this, because I get on the show all the time and I talk about the integrity, protecting the integrity of the season ticket holder.
Yeah.
So you would think that I would be against this, and I'm not against this.
Why not?
Because these are playoff teams.
They're sitting guys. Yeah. You go crazy on pop when you sit guys.
Because that's different.
Why?
Because these teams have already made the playoffs. So they have shown their fans that they have won over the course of the season. So I'm okay with playoff teams then strategizing and go further in the playoffs. And in terms of the Nets, they're playing the Knicks. It has no effect on the Knicks are already out. So it doesn't matter. So I'm okay with this.
You're okay because it has no effect on the playoffs, but it helps their team.
That's right.
Greg Popovich is helping his team. Story. By the time he's 20-4, he's helping his team.
And by the way, it's totally consistent with Jason Kidd to maneuver the same way he did with that soda. He's okay to cheat. He's okay with that.
So he's okay.
He's okay. He's okay with me.
East Coast guy. He's
okay with me.
Metropolitan New York. He can cheat his butt off.
That's right.
A shock there. Bad news coming out of Oakland. It appears Andrew Bogut is out for the playoffs, leaving a big hole in the middle of that Warriors defense. Golden State shot up the defensive ranks this season to 4th in opponents' field goal percentage, ahead of even the Spurs and Clippers, largely because Bogut was healthy enough this year to play 67 games. But now he's got a fractured rib, and his coach, Mark Jackson, has to go to the bullpen. Tone, what does this mean for the Warriors, who you early picked to win the West, and for Mark Jackson's chances of keeping his gig?
Let's look at this dispassionately for a second. Mark Jackson has been there for 3 years. In the 2nd and 3rd year, he made the playoffs, and he won more games in each successive year.
23, 47,
that ought to be
50.
enough to keep your job. If you were to go and beat the Clippers in the first round without Andrew Bogut, you would say, boy, that is a great job. Yeah. But it seems obvious from everything you tell me and from what other people tell me that the owner of the Warriors does not want Mark Jackson. So, in fact, I heard today from a basketball insider that Jackson may have to go all the way to the finals to keep his job. So if you don't want to have him, you don't want to have him, he's not going to be there.
To me, it is insane that the owner doesn't want Mark Jackson, or that anybody there wouldn't want Mark Jackson. This is a franchise that made the playoffs once in 25 years. And now he's gone back-to-back, and like you said, Tony, he's increased that win total. And Bogut, the reason that the Warriors even play any defense, because they didn't. Even when they had a tiny little bit of success under Don Nelson one year and they beat Dallas, they didn't play any defense. Mark Jackson and then Bogut's presence in that lineup helped them redefine the way that team plays.
Well, they're done now.
They can't beat the Clippers without Bogut.
Mark Jackson, why can't Mark Jackson, by the way, who can stand on his record, why can't he go coach, where he grew up in New York, where he played for the Knicks, where Phil Jackson played? Because you're going to tell me, he doesn't know the triangle. When did the triangle become like the mystery of the pyramids? When is it so unknowable that nobody can know the triangle?
That's a good point. So you think if you're Mark Jackson, you're saying, here's my record, to hell with you, I can go somewhere else and work. That's your position on this?
Yes.
Just making it clear.
Hanzo Martin has left Tennessee to take the vacant job at California. That is everybody speculating that Tennessee will go after Greg Marshall of Wichita State, who has reportedly been runner-up twice for the Tennessee job. Jason King of Bleacher Report says, quote, if Tennessee wants Greg Marshall, it better be prepared to fork over $3 million per year for 5 years, and that still may not be enough, unquote. Wilbon, if you were Greg Marshall, would you take this job?
No. What do I need to? I got a job. I got a job where I make about $1.7 million a year. Somebody's floating some numbers out there. Tennessee's calling. Hey, you can get up to 2.5. You can get up close enough. And here's the important thing, and it's not money first in this case. How many times has Tennessee in its basketball history been to the Final Four?
None.
How many times Wichita State been there under Greg Marshall?
One.
And a 1 seed to boot after that, and they had another great season. So why should Greg Marshall go? If Tennessee's such a great job, and it isn't in basketball, okay, why did Hanzo Martin leave? It's not a particularly great job in basketball, and there's no reason for Greg Marshall to leave.
I'm going to give you reasons why he should leave, because if you go to the SEC, that is a multiple bid conference every single year, which the Missouri Valley is not if Wichita State stays there.
Why do you care about multiple bids? You got a bid.
Not only is it a multiple bid conference, but there's only 2 teams in that league that really care about basketball within the last 20 years. Florida and Kentucky, which always cares about basketball. I just give you some numbers. Comparing the Missouri Valley in the last 10 years, a total of 18 bids, to the SEC, a total of 44 bids. So you walk into a power conference where you have a good chance to be great right away.
You're making my case. Why do I care about multiple bids?
No,
I want all the bids. I want to dominate a conference that I can dominate, that I have for 2 years, and I got to the Final Four.
Greg Marshall is good. He's a Southerner. He's born in South Carolina. He coached in Virginia. He could go to Tennessee. He could wait. He could wait like Shaka Smart waits or Mark Few waits, but this is a better job for him.
He has been to the Final Four and had a number 1 seed, and the school you're telling him to go to has not.
They've had number 1 seeds in their lives.
Well, they haven't been to the Final Four.
They have not. This is a better job for Greg Marshall.
If population theory issue?
It's got nothing to do with population.
About
nothing, zero.
Speaking of big populations, Los Angeles Magazine, the May edition, has a must-read feature on Yasiel Puig's dramatic escape from Cuba. Chock with details from the nefarious world of drug lords and shadow agents and people to whom Puig has to apparently pay 20% of all his earnings for guaranteeing his safe passage from Cuba to Mexico to Los Angeles. Even an episode of Murder isn't far away. Not that Puig had anything to do with it personally. Tone, how concerned should Major League Baseball be with the details of this story?
They should be 100% concerned because the details are scary. How he got out of Cuba, how he got out of Mexico, the non-law-abiding citizens that surround him, and the possibility that he owes these people something. They need to talk to him, and they need to find out, are the threads still existing between him and possible drug cartel people and possible people who should be and may yet be in jail. He needs to know, they need to know if he has any obligation to them. I mean, we talked about Deshaun Jackson last week. This is times 50.
But that's the reason when Major League Baseball has almost no play here. I agree with you. They need to start an investigation, but this has to go much higher than Major League Baseball, Tony. Major League Baseball is not a government. It's not a law enforcement agency or agencies. It doesn't have the power or the reach. We're talking about drug cartels.
But Puig has committed no crime.
Governmental agencies in the United States of America. Wait.
It's above Puig.
Wrong. We're not talking about Puig now. We're not talking about an investigation of Puig. I agree with you. We're talking about an investigation of the situation that surrounds him, that could wind up at Dodger Stadium somehow or outside
of it. If you're
in
baseball, you have to ask yourself this. What if Puig is obliged to these sorts of people? What about his safety? What about the safety of
people
his
around
teammates?
No
what about all that? And what you learn in this piece, one of the things you learn in this piece is that Puig, who's been a disciplinary problem for Don Mattingly and the Dodgers, was such a disciplinary problem in Cuba that he was suspended for long periods of time from Cuban baseball. So that is of a piece as you go forward. And you learn the possibility that he was an informant on people that wanted to leave Cuba. I mean, he becomes a more fascinating,
complex character. We don't know why he was an informant, whether he was forced to be an informant.
Don't know.
But it does this. In addition to being a fascinating character, Tony, it suggests to me that Dodger management at the very top is going to have to be sophisticated about this. It's going to have to be circumspect about this.
That's right.
And baseball is going to have to cooperate.
You know what else you learn?
Bigger than that.
You learn the great accident of birth that you were not born in Cuba if you want to be in that. That's right. The NCAA has reportedly decided to sanction yet another college football bowl game. This will be the 40th such bowl game. It will start in 2015. It will involve teams from your Sun Belt Conference and the fledgling American Athletic Conference. Now, people scream incessantly that there are too many bowl games already. Wilbon, is there such a thing as too many bowl games?
Okay, let's go back. How many bowl games are there?
This will be 40. It will involve 78 teams.
In our times, as a sports writer, there have been like single-digit bowl games. Maybe that just means we're old.
I don't know about that. Single digit, I don't know.
There were 4 on New Year's Day, and it was like the Blue Bonnet and the Liberty. That's it.
Okay. There weren't this many.
This many?
There weren't.
There should be 10 bowl games. I say that as an alum of a school that promotes the number of bowl games we've been to. We have been to 6 straight. We just missed one. It's great. Schools promote that, all right? And that's how you help recruit.
Save a coach's job. If you get to a bowl game, can save a coach's job.
So I apologize in advance to everybody in my school who would like to go to a bowl game. There's not going to be one of 10.
Let me just tell you something.
But you know what? 10 bowl games is enough. That's enough.
This particular bowl game, which is probably going to have a 5th-place team against a 6th-place, it's not for the national championship. It doesn't matter. You know what matters?
What?
What matters is eyeballs. The people watch these bowl games. They watch them. More people watch that than watch us. They watch these bowl games. Who is hurt? Who is hurt by 2 terrible 6-6 teams?
The culture.
Who's hurt?
The universe.
The universe.
Enough. 10 bowl games not enough?
No. I like. You know what? Everybody should be in a bowl game.
If December is not chock full of those bowl games, there may be more of us on the screen.
Let's take a break.
We wouldn't want that, would we?
Coming up, Brian Windhorst joins us with the latest on the struggling Heat and Pacers.
And later, glorious sight, disappointed fans in Philly.
Yeah. Dan Uggla hit one out.
You can't believe you want 30 bowl games. You can't.
No, I want 40. I might want 50. The Heat have lost 4 of 5. The Pacers have lost 6 of 9. Everyone seems to be shrugging at the top seed. To help us sort it out, we bring in our main man, Brian Windhorst. Let's start with this, Brian. After the Pacers beat the Thunder, that's just a couple of days ago, Frank Vogel said, and I quote, "I think we're on our way back to being us again," unquote. What are you hearing about the current state of the Pacers?
Well, I'll tell you, I spent a lot of time with the Pacers over the last month, and they're a team that is just so fragile emotionally right now. A stiff wind knocks them over. And so I have to say, I was really impressed the way they stepped up and played that game. That was a game that the Thunder were trying to win, an important game. But I think, here's the thing. The Pacers are a very fragile offensive team. And when things go badly for them offensively, which happens a lot, they start to point fingers at each other. That guy's not throwing me the ball. It gets right back down to elementary school stuff. And that's just part of being a bad offensive team and being an inexperienced team in adversity. And so they're fighting that right now. But I will say this. They play differently at home, and they're a little bit tougher at home and a little bit more resilient. I think they had only 5 or 6 losses at home all year, and now they know they're going to have home court in the first 3 rounds. So to me, because they've got that little extra cushion of being at home, I think they've got a chance to get some traction here because they're going to get a first-round series they should be able to handle, and I think they can get some momentum.
You've covered the Heat more extensively than any other team. You know the personalities there. You know the dynamic there. Can you please explain to us why the Heat don't seem to care at all about having the top seed, about having home court advantage?
Yeah, what's weird about it is that the Heat should realize that their margin of error this season is going to be way smaller than it's been the last 2 years. And they haven't been a team that's exactly, gone 4-4-4. They've had to go to 3 Game 7s in the last 2 seasons. They've been down in almost every series they've played. They've had to play comeback. And now they're looking at this where they're going to have to be probably without home court in at least 2 of the 4 rounds. So They definitely need to play a little bit better. And, look at it. They're 11-13 in their last 24 games. 24 games, that's not a bad week. That's not even a bad month. That's a bad quarter of the season. This is the most LeBron has lost in 7 years. He hasn't gone through a streak like this in 7 years, which is one of the reasons he's been in a perpetual bad mood really for the last 5 or 6 weeks. And so the Heat are also in a situation where they're playing a team in the first round that doesn't have experience but has a big man that's going to give them problems. Al Jefferson, people forget, LeBron had that 61-point game against the Bobcats. Al Jefferson had 39 and 19 that night. So I do think they've got enough talent, but if they end up running into a team, especially if the Brooklyn Nets fall to the 6th seed and they have to see them maybe in the second round, this could be a more difficult run than I think they're expecting.
Well, Brian, let's expand on that for a second, because generally in the NBA, you look at the top 2 seeds when they are established teams, like a 2-time champion and even Indiana, and you think, okay, the only question is how are they going to get to the conference finals and face each other? But do you think we're looking at a situation where either one of those teams, I hesitate to even suggest both, may not make it as far as we all presume?
I just think you go back to January 1st, okay, and we're talking more than half the season. The Pacers are the 4th best team in the East in that stretch. The Heat are, the Heat are the 4th best. The Pacers are the 5th best. The Bulls and the Nets have been better than them for 3.5 months now. I think everybody's looking at it and saying, okay, well, we're going to see a bunch of yawning in the East until the conference finals. That hasn't been the case for 3 months now. These teams have been getting beat regularly, and they've been getting beat regularly by the teams that could be challenging them in the second round, starting with them.
We'll get you out of here on this. You wrote in early March that Carmelo Anthony benefits a great deal by staying in New York one more season. So do you discount his apparent flirtation with the Bulls now?
I don't at all. I think it's legit. I definitely think that the Bulls players want him. I know Joakim Noah, whether he may admit it publicly or not, wants him on his team. I just don't know if the Bulls management wants to make the moves that are going to be required to bring him in. They're going to have to potentially trade away some players, trade away Taj Gibson perhaps, who's one of the favorite players of the whole organization. I'm not so sure they're willing to invest the kind of money. The thing you got to realize about Carmelo Anthony, he's getting to the point where do you really want to have him making $25 or $30 million on your salary cap in 3 or 4 years? Is that really a smart deal to give him a $100 million contract right now? Is it worth tearing your team to pieces? And Carmelo should know this already. When Carmelo got his way to New York, they had to tear their team apart to get him there, and they ended up paying the price for it. I don't know why he'd want to go to another team that wants to tear itself apart to afford him, but that definitely is on his menu of options, and I think the dark horse is the Houston Rockets. The Rockets have some flexibility with their cap. They would have to make some trades, but they definitely believe they could trade Jeremy Lin and Omer Asik and create a salary spot for Carmelo Anthony. I think that's the team that makes a major play for him if Carmelo indeed opts out, which I really expect him to do.
That would be something in Houston. Thank you as always.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you very much.
See you soon.
We're taking a break. When we come back, Chris Johnson pays a visit to Wilbon's Jets.
My Jets. And Albert Pujols is on pace for 50 home runs. Playing again. Miguel Cabrera, Miggy, not so much.
So then Dwight Howard would have Harden and Carmelo Anthony?
Yeah.
And so he could just back into a championship, basically.
He's the third guy.
Ooh. This just in, our team doctors have provided us with an exclusive brain image of what Wilbon was thinking about at the start of the show. There they are, Wilbon and Derrick Rose soaring above Chicago on a unicorn named Ditka. Happy time, people. Happy 47th birthday, Garrett Torres. In case you think that at 31, Michael Phelps might be too old to be an Olympic swimmer, Garrett Torres competed for the United States in Beijing at age 41, and she not only won 2 silver medals in relays, she won an individual silver in the 50-meter freestyle. No woman swimmer has more Olympic medals than Torres is 12.
I know Phelps is great, the greatest swimmer, but she is a marvel, an athletic marvel to be able to do what she's done.
Absolutely. Happy anniversary, Jackie Robinson. On this day 67 years ago, Robinson broke baseball's color barrier. This is simply the most important social and cultural event in the history of sports. And though it is not a great movie, I would commend 42 to anybody who doesn't know of Jackie Robinson's struggle and heroism.
Tony, I would say it's simply the most important cultural event as it relates to race in the history of America. I'm putting it above a whole lot of other events there.
Happy trails to the smiles on these Phillies fans' faces. These fans who were taunting Atlanta second baseman Dan Uggla as they got up to bat with the bases loaded in the ninth last night had their souls and spleens crushed by Uggla's go-ahead grand slam. The Braves hit 5 home runs from the 6th inning on.
So you mean it's not just the Nationals that the Braves beat up on?
They beat up on a lot of teams. Reality, what did we mess up?
My man there was like, this is why we don't have nice things. Tennessee basketball, never a 1 seed, double-digit bowl games for your entire reporting careers.
Big
Never
finish,
a
let's
one
go
seed.
quick.
Let's do it.
Albert Pujols has 4 homers and 9 RBI through 13 games. Is he back?
Not entirely. That's a 51-12 pace, but he's just hitting 259. He's got a ways to go. Miguel Cabrera, 10 strikeouts, 1 home run, 10 games concerned.
What was that contract for? How many years? Matt Moore of the Rays will reportedly have Tommy John surgery. Big loss.
17-4, the 3.5 ERA last year. Yes, big loss. The Bucks became just the 5th team in history to not win consecutive games at any point all season. Wow. You're sad, aren't you?
They stink.
But you sad?
Last one, free agent running back Chris Johnson spotted visiting the Jets today. Good fit, isn't it?
I don't think about the Jets. You think about that with a unicorn and one of the Ryans in your pregame.
Try and do better than next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. Check out the podcast on iTunes.
Happy Passover, buddy. What are you doing for Passover? You got a Seder tonight, Wilbon?
All night.
Seder tonight.
Postage meter companies used to be the only way to print postage, and they took advantage of that, charging whatever ridiculous fees they wanted. But those days are over, thanks to Stamps.com. With Stamps.com, you get more features than a postage meter at a fraction of the cost. All you need is your computer and printer to print official U.S. postage for any letter, any package, any class of mail. With Stamps.com, everything you can do at the post office, you can do right from your desk. It's so convenient. And right now, Stamps.com has a special offer when you use promo code PTI. Get a no-risk trial, plus a $110 bonus offer that includes a digital scale and up to $55 free postage. Don't wait. Go to Stamps.com today, and before you do anything else, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in PTI. That's Stamps.com, promo code PTI.
What makes the Indy 500 the greatest spectacle in racing?
Back home again.
We are free. Everyone in the grandstands are on their feet.
Now a winner of the Indianapolis 500, my friend.
The Indianapolis 500, Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on ABC.